A couple weeks ago, we saw how legendary this movement is. With close to 2 million views and 1,000 comments, people shared how critical this exercise has been in strengthening the low back. It's probably the best place to start if your back isn't as strong as you'd like it to be. But there are other areas that affect the low back, and if you give me a few minutes of your time, I'll give you the most common sense formula to create a healthy lower back ecosystem. All of these movements reverse the chair-bound body. Too much of this is why we're probably in trouble in the first place. So step one is to strengthen your lower back directly. If you don't have access to a back extension machine, an inexpensive at-home option is a Swiss ball with heels against the wall. This allows you to still get some range of motion from flexion to extension while activating the back of the legs. And an even more minimalist setup is pillows under the hips, feet against the wall. This isn't isometric, but it'll still be strengthening the heck out of your whole backside. From too much sitting, the hip flexors get trapped at 90 degrees. Hip flexors attach to the spine and without a doubt play a huge role in your lower back health. Most common sense way to reverse this is spin time in a lunge split squat style position. And if you challenge your body to be strong here by being active, you'll probably see more progress. You can use some assistance in a higher hip position to fit your current level. Also try elevating the front foot to give your hips a bit more space. But honestly, working to the ground will probably make the most change. And often overlooked is the ability to be strong in hip flexion. Weak hip flexors can actually feel stiff. Sitting locks our hip flexors in a stuck position, but we need to remind them to be strong. I love the simplicity of a front kick. Can you kick your foot to hip height and hold it for 3 to 5 seconds? But honestly, hip flexion is kind of dummy proof. Sit down on the ground and do it, or take on the challenge of learning an L-sit. Now you get the hip flexor strength combined with shoulder and core development. A very common area to get tight in is the inner thighs. Taking a wide stance and sinking the hips low is the simplest way to start mobilizing the inner thighs. This position turns on all the hip muscles that go to sleep when you sit. It's not the opposite of sitting, it is sitting without the chair. This opens and strengthens the hip while being very back friendly because the spine stays neutral. Unfortunately for the hamstrings, smashing them down on the chair all day long makes them weak and also stiff. But by simply getting yourself into a hip hinge position, you start stretching them. Try to keep your back flat and you can work in and out of a deep stretch position. The hips have a large capacity of rotation, but when we sit, they get none of it. The Z-sit position is the simplest way to make sure that your hips get internal and external rotation range. Seriously, just build sitting into this position throughout your day. And after feeling really comfortable here, you can start to lean forward, bringing the chest towards the knee, and leaning backwards, bringing the elbow towards the ankle. I think that the hips influence the lower back the most, but what's upstream also plays a role. Of course, when we sit, the back hunches and the front of the shoulder becomes locked up. The crab press is just a super simple bodyweight movement that opens the chest and activates the back of the shoulder. If the arms rest in front of you for 8 hours a day, make sure that you reach them behind you. But we also need to reach the shoulders overhead. By putting your elbows on a surface and getting your body horizontal, we stretch the big lat and tricep muscles that can become stiff from slouching and sitting. As we attack all of these, we gain back our natural human ability to deep squat. This becomes the more sensible resting position to spend time in throughout the day. Of course, I'm not saying to never sit in a chair, but when you can, try to choose the deep squat. I just threw a lot at you, 10 different movements, but my goal was for this to be a very simple guide against the desk-bound posture we're all falling victim to. Save it, come back and reference it when you need new ideas. Feeling inspired to do more? Master mobility from stiff to flexible in 12 weeks. I'm gonna hook you up with a discount code, reverse sitting, as always. P.S. Trap 3 raises are definitely worth anybody's time in the anti-sitting formula, and there's various minimalistic setups you can use. These strengthen your trap muscles that control the upper back and play a big role in posture. Getting strong here is the reverse of a slouched upper back at the desk. The QL muscle is also attached to the spine and rib cage. Side bending is a lost range of motion most people could use more of, but a simple loaded side bend can usually do the trick. Okay, I'll stop here before I give you guys a full-on program. Anything you want to add to this list, comment below.